He's playing.
Okay, see, I can't hear it now.
Then how'd you know he's playing?
Because I seen the live thing going on.
And a billfold so swole that I can't get the shit closed.
I'll try and mock your head, your head, Bob.
There we go. We're on.
It don't get any better than that. Wrestling with Rip Rogers. Ask Rip Rogers live.
Friday, June 20th. We're live on the air on YouTube, Rip. Tell you what, you have to carry this show today. I'm exhausted. Stayed up late for the Pacers victory last night. Had to get up early this morning for the chiropractor. Then had to go to therapy. And
but
now
you made it back. But you made it back. That's all that matters. So you can get on here. We can gloat about the Pacers today. Everybody said they was going to get their butts beat. Didn't happen. Had about 6, 7 guys in double figures, kicking butt, taking names. Pacers, they can be relaxing now. Be relaxing. They ain't scared of the big bad Shai Gilgeous, whatever his third name, whatever. They don't care if he flops even worse than LeBron. They don't care if he's the leading scorer in the NBA. The Pacers are on fire, baby. This is their year. If they got me and you trying to watch it or whatever, thinking about it, talking about it, it don't get any better than that. Pacers, baby.
Gilbert Arenas, former NBA player, was on one of those talk shows this morning, Stephen A. Smith or something. He said, even if the Pacers win it all, they're still not very good.
Well, no, I understand that.
I don't.
I do. Years ago in different leagues when they'd have divisions and stuff, like the NBA was just the East versus the West. And then they start having the playoffs, and whoever won the NBA, they weren't even the best team in their league.
That was years ago when they had ABA, NBA, all kinds of other shit. That's not now. I mean, now it's the NBA.
Well, whoever wins under this set of rules is the best for this year, and that's all that matters.
Well, yeah. So I don't understand at all what he's saying. He played for the Washington Bullets or whatever. I'm not sure he even ever played on a winning team.
He was a good scorer until he got hurt.
Well, yeah, he was a good scorer on a horrible team.
Well, that's better than being a bad scorer on a good team.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
He made more money.
I don't know. Maybe not.
He's over.
He's not over.
Oh, sure he is.
He freaking played on nobody team, and you're going to sit here and talk about people in the finals, which he never was. I'm sure. I'd have to look it up. I'd highly doubt. I mean, nothing like a trash talker from a guy who really never won anything.
You got Stephen A. talking about everything, mad at the world about everything in every sport, and I don't think he's ever lettered anything in his life. They said he'd averaged 1.5 points a game, but he only played one game at Winston-Salem. But that's impossible to average 1.5 if you only played one game. So there might be a little technical malfunction at the junction there.
Yeah. We got a light load today, man. We only got 16 people in here, man. Maybe people, what do you always say? Can't miss you if you're never gone. Maybe. I'm sure my schedule here this summer, though, we'll have to take a break at some point in time. 16 viewers right now. We need to get some people on the horn here. Did you plug this thing this week, Rip?
Well, I can't. How many times did you want me to put it on?
I just asked if you did. I didn't know if you did.
Yes, I did.
Okay. I did not, but nobody. I was going to save this for later, but shit. I was going to say, doesn't matter if I put it on Twitter or not because nobody follows me and that nobody sees anything. Except now I'm going to have to start using it because
you got John Cena following
yesterday. John Cena started following me, Rip. How about that? Like real John Cena started following
What can you say? You're just over. That's all there is. You just be over.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Wonder why he started following me. Surely somebody else runs his account. It's a bot or something. Surely it was by accident. I saw he follows a ton of people. But anyway, I'll take it. It has to be the real John Cena. It's 14.4 million followers on that account. So
well, it's probably not Manny the Weasel Valverde with some fictitious name and fictitious numbers or whatever. It's probably the John Cena. So it don't get any better than that.
I wonder if he finally heard that I beat him, and he was probably thinking, man, who is this guy that's always online saying I beat John Cena?
That was in Muncie, right?
Yeah, and he wanted to come on and, maybe congratulate me today or something like that.
Or he might want to deny it or want to give you a rematch.
Yeah, maybe a rematch or deny, whatever.
Yeah, just
man, I thought I had that clip ready to go, but I don't.
Yeah, just spell your name right.
Yeah. So,
John
Cena, if you're listening today, if you're one of the 16 viewers, welcome to the show today, man.
Well, is Screaming Babu, is he on there? He's only texted me about 30 times this morning.
Well, that's what happens when you put your phone number out on the show, Let's see. Frank's Pickle Barrel Ass in the house in green. Hello, Ripper and Chopper. Got Daughters Catholic School's first wrestling show tomorrow. 400 tickets sell out. No ex-WWE or legends on the show. Guy who knows zero set it up, but he's over, I think he's trying to say. So 400 tickets at the Catholic School, Rip. Sounds pretty good.
Where's that at? Did you say what town?
Frank's out in the New Jersey area or something. Isn't he out East Coaster?
Well, hell, that ought to be good then. Shit.
Sounds fun.
It ain't like in Jackson County where we got so many thousands of people there and they've got millions out there. So go get them, baby. It could be the greatest show there on that day.
I'm sure it'll be fantastic. I wonder if they'll have any sex booths or whatever. If Frank's there, he's always got some kind of sex thing going on.
Well, I think he's a borderline perv, just like us. But
just like you. Don't put me in there.
Huh? Don't put you in there.
No, I'm not a perv. You're a perv.
Now, why am I a perv?
You self-admitted. You just said you were.
Self-proclaimed?
I don't know why you are, but you are.
Oh, okay.
Tom Montgomery in the house. Big George in green in the house. Pinion Haver was here. He said, hey, fellas, and then sneaks off.
Then he sneaks out.
Pinion Haver in green.
He was number 14. Now he's number 13, right?
Big George says, celebrating my first grandbaby this week. Born on Tuesday. Going to be trained by the Hustler to become a future world champ. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we're going to have, is it a male baby or a female baby?
Male.
Okay, said he. Okay. Well, I guess it's not going to be Wild Man Joe training him. I guess Wild Man Joe will be a veteran then. Of course, he should still have abs and wear the Tarzan Jungle Man suit there. Probably moving to Savannah, Georgia, so that Joe can train him.
Yeah. George Jetson in the house. Is Rip still from parts unknown? Yes, he is. Patrick Young in green, ready for class. Who else? We got Italian in the house. Puzzy Monster in the house, Rip.
Is Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese on there?
Not yet. You see, they beat up Caitlin the other night again. See that?
Yeah, the old right in the eye.
Poking the eye, and then the other girl comes and plows her over.
Yeah, they're allowed to do anything. They're allowed to do anything they want to.
It's just so dumb, man. It's
Hey, the same thing happened to Pete Maravich when he was a rookie in the NBA.
Oh, did it?
There he was, averaging 44 points a game in college. So he went down. He got drafted by the Atlanta Hawks, and he ended up averaging 24 points a game as a rookie. But all 5 starters were black. They hated him because he's making about 10 times as much money as them. So it was his fault. So he was going through the Caitlin Clark thing, but it was with his teammates. They wouldn't make it. Yeah, it's his fault. It's his fault. He averaged 44 points a game with no 3-point line. But then he did shoot. Then they finally moved the line back when he was hurt towards the end, and he shot 15 and made 10.
Wow.
10 out of 15 in 3-pointers. Then he retired because his knee was so bad.
Fuzzy Monster said he liked our intro music. Our intro music is by Starcade, man. Go check it out, Starcade. Go look at the video. Real Freaky, I'm in it. Real Freaky featuring Von Lilas.
That's when you're caning everybody, right?
Yeah.
And Chili's in there too, right?
Oh yeah, he's in. Yeah,
he's 6'12" Chili.
Chili's in Starcade. He's in the band, man.
Well, Chili's in everything. He's just busy being over. And I think he's getting ready for the Mr. Olympia. He's lost so much weight, hadn't he?
Yeah, he's
6'12" Chili. Getting into fighting shape again.
Let's see, where was I? Frank, let's see. Shane Parks in the house. Can't stay long. Has errands to run. Huh.
Well, he always got errands to run.
Just more time for errands, Shane Parks. Come on, man. But he's going to give us a $2 super sticker on his way out, so we'll take it.
Okay, that's all that matters.
Gregory Mala in the house.
Shit, he's 2 weeks in a row, right? Or is that 3?
I don't know, man. I haven't been. Big George says Cena is in the chat today. You just can't see him.
Oh, okay. Oh, I like that one. Fucking George. Goddamn, George is comedy relief now.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, me too. Billy Ray Dollar in the house. Quality over quantity, whatever that means. I don't know. No. I don't remember what we were talking about.
No, it's quantity over quality. We'll just give you a lot of bad. We'll give you a lot of bad shit instead of a little bit of good stuff.
Vito Andretti, Stephen Allen in the house. Andrew in the house. You know Andrew?
Well, what's his middle name? Is it Andrew, Tony Andrew?
It just says Andrew. It says, what's up with you today?
Okay. Is that like sup or is it
well, it actually says, what's up with you today? Is
he talking to you, me, or all of the above?
It's probably you. It is Ask Rip Rogers Live.
Oh yeah, well I'm busy being Liv. Listening to Lila since he just got back, getting his bones cracked and everything, getting in shape. I'm trying to hold on for another day. So I got to hold on another day to at least watch the Pacers, you know.
Yeah, well, you don't watch it. You got to just watch the little ball bounce on your phone.
Watch the ball, and then that's right. I watched the little ball. Don't watch the game.
Did you watch the game last night? Actually watch it?
No, but what I did was wait a minute. I turned it on in the beginning, right? And they're behind like 8 points real fast. I said, holy shit, what the fuck? Then all of a sudden I turned it back about 40 minutes later and they're up. I said, holy shit, all right.
Why would you turn it? What did you do for 40 minutes? Like you had other shit going on? You couldn't just watch the game?
No, I just do other stuff on my phone.
So you weren't really watching the TV. You're just tracking it on your phone.
Yeah, no, I got the big screen TV here, but I don't know how it works. So
right. So that's my question. Did you actually watch it on TV last night, or just tracking it on your phone?
I'm just tracking it on my phone. I didn't know what the official word. You know how you see the ball bounce? Boop, boop, boop.
So you just watched on your phone, tracked it on your phone, and then went to scroll through a bunch of other shit for 40 minutes, and then check back in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, am I allowed to?
I mean, I guess I don't get it really,
well,
but
shit,
yeah,
I had to see what was happening with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, what kind of drama they had. I had to see how many videos were put up of Angel Reese running and missing layups and getting her me bounds, and that was good by her getting them me bound shirts. Wasn't it?
Yeah, she trademarked that, I think.
Yeah, she's smarter than shit. Her stock's going up. Hell, I hit shit out of that thing.
Me bounds.
Me bounds, baby.
So if you ever looked at your phone on the screen time, out of 24 hours in a day, what do you think your screen time hours would be?
Oh, it's usually like 11 or 12.
That's all? I thought it'd be more than that.
Oh, a lot of times I won't even.
That's still a lot, I think. Half your day.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
12 hours. I mean, including sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Frank, $2. I'm over the border perv. He's no border perv. He is over the border perv, I guess.
He's over the border perv.
Italian wants to hear about some piss flaps today.
Who does?
Italian.
About some piss flaps? Well, I sent a bunch of dirty pictures of a bunch of fat women to Screaming Baboon, and he was grading them. So he was talking about piss flaps, stuff like that.
Shane Parks, for his $2, said, ever wrestle or work with Pac Song?
Packy? No. I was on.
You know him? I don't know him.
No, he was a big, huge. He sort of reminded you of Baba, but he was a vicious heel, but he could speak perfect English too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Pac Song, Packy. And he looked meaner than hell.
How about Mike Rotunda?
Yeah, that's Barry Windham's brother-in-law. She's married to Barry Windham's sister, and that's the one he's got all the brothers. Bray Wyatt was his brother. Was that the one that died?
Well, Bray Wyatt was his son.
Yeah, that was his son, and he died, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Mike Rotunda, he was a badass. He was a All-American wrestler at Syracuse, and he played varsity football. So he was definitely badass. He's always been like a gentleman.
But did you wrestle him? Ever wrestle him was the question.
Oh, Mike? No, he was always a heel when I was a heel.
Frank says, are they Starrcade Indiana boys? The two main ones that actually, three main ones. There's three main ones.
And then you and Chili are in there, so there's 4 or 5.
One is Indiana, one is New York. They met in New York at the guy's whiskey bar that he owned.
Oh, not bad.
Formed a group, lived both in New York for quite a while. One still lives in New York, and the one that actually lived in New York originally, so the Indiana boy still lives in New York. The one that was originally in New York moved to Tampa, I believe. Somewhere in Florida. Tampa, I think.
He probably wanted to visit Susio in Tampa. He wanted to learn some more stuff about hit with that kendo stick. Since you took his kendo stick, I thought, or did you break it? Hey, center of the board's back, baby. About time. Where the hell you been?
We got to skip right down to that, man.
Hey, Rip, can you talk about the old school wrestling trainers like Herb Welch, Hiro Matsuda, and Bob Roop? Well, I can tell you a little about all of them. Herb Welch was one of the famous clan of the Fullers. The Fullers were all Welches. Now, Herb Welch, he was a big shooter. So he would, whenever there was any trouble, like at one time, the Fullers or the Welches, they pretty much they owned part of all the territories down south. And if there was any guys doing outlaw shows there or whatever at the time, they'd just come in there and run them out of town because nobody wanted to mess with the Welches. So here's old Ron Fuller. He's an old, nice guy, about 7 foot tall now. And Robert, he's there with the biggest hammer. But they're lovers and not fighters. But their dad, uncles, great uncles, etc., they were some of the original badasses in pro wrestling, and they acted like it. Now, Hiro Matsuda, Mr. Matsuda, he was there when I was wrestling in Tampa in 1985. And he was a minority stockholder there. And he was like pretty much the policeman there earlier before Bob Roop was later. But Matsuda, that's who I sent Lex Luger to go down. I told him to go. He said, Mr. Rogers, how can I become a pro wrestler? I said, you go down to 106 North Albany in Tampa and you go see Mr. Hiro Matsuda. So Lex Luger, who had played pro football about 4 years and was in the NFL as a goddamn teenager, just like Dick the Bruiser, good looking guy. And I was training in Rick Poston's gym, who had won Mr. America that year. And his wife at that time was the strongest woman in America. I'm surprised she didn't die from steroids, but she had her hair all in rollers and stuff, but she was sort of bald from taking too many steroids. But she was benching about 350 pounds or something like that. That was a woman. But Matsuda, back to this. So Lex Luger, he went down and trained with Hiro Matsuda. Matsuda put him through the goddamn paces, and he signed that big contract. He was one of the first guys ever to sign a major contract on guaranteed. All I can do is hear, but I heard his first contract was like a guaranteed $250,000 a year. Just because I heard it, you know how the boys are. I heard, but that's what I heard. And then Bob Roop, he was always, now Eddie Graham was Mike Graham's dad. Eddie Graham was the original Rip Rogers. I just copied his name because Frankie Kane gave it to me. Him and the Calkins gave it to me when I wrestled for them in Mississippi in '79. But he was the original Rip Rogers, and he was majority stockholder in the Tampa Territory Championship Wrestling from Florida. That's where the legendary Gordon Soley got his started. Then he branched off into TBS and Pro Wrestling This Week and some other different stations. So did some with Memphis too, but that was the great Gordon Soley. But Bob Roop, he was like, whenever somebody would want to break into wrestling business, especially if they were from Florida, they would come in there, and Roop would. Now Bob Roop, he was a nice guy out of the ring, but in the ring, he was an animal. He was an Olympian wrestler for the United States of America in, I think it was 1968. So he was a badass. So all these guys that were wanting to be a wrestler, Bob would, let's just say he would stretch them. He would do whatever he would do necessary. And a lot of times Eddie would be right there. He'd give him like the thumbs down or whatever to really hurt him. Because what it would do is these were potential guys that were from Florida, a lot of them from Tampa. They probably went to the matches every week. So they would just usually hurt those guys real bad. Then they would show up next week at ringside and you know, they tell everybody, hey, we're gonna try and be a wrestler. So we're gonna work out with Bob Roop. So Bob would rip him a new asshole. He beat the shit out of them, and they would almost be running out of the building. They were so scared of Bob Roop. So Eddie Graham liked it because they would be coming back to the ringside where they'd sit all the time or whatever. And they'd ask him, well, how was it? Oh, no, they almost killed me. I just want to sit here and yell and scream and have a good time. I'm not going to get in there with them. They almost killed me. So that was the legend of Bob Roop and Hiro Matsuda when you're trying to break in with Eddie Graham in Championship Wrestling from Florida.
Good answer, Rip.
Okay, I was stringing it out because I didn't know if you'd be gone for.
I wasn't gone ever.
Oh, okay.
I'm still here. I just put you on the.
Okay, awesome.
On the screen, man, and then I'm doing some behind the scenes stuff, so I don't have to sit there and watch me do nothing, you know.
Okay, but no, Matsuda, he was a freak. He was a physical fitness freak. I used to be, but now I'm just a freak. But Matsuda, he would squat him to death, push up you to death. So if Matsuda broke you in, he made sure you were booked with his company or a different company, and he made sure you got very good money for your experience thing because you were kicking back to him, and that's the way it used to be. Whoever trained you, you'd give them maybe 15-20% of your money, some of them 25%, but he knew every promoter in the United States. He could get you in Japan and whatever, so he was in your corner. So the more money you made, the more money he made. And anybody that Matsuda broke in, you all had tremendous respect for the business.
Any Don Bass stories?
Yeah, I'm thinking Ron Bass and Don Bass, Ronnie and Donnie. They were the twins.
Were they ever the Assassins?
Yes. Yeah, they were pretty good. And then Curtis Smith was one of the Assassins too. It was usually Smith, Curtis Smith, or Donnie Bass, but he did a lot of stuff in Memphis. He was Dirty Rhodes, right?
No, I don't think that's the same guy. We talked about this like last week or the week before. Dirty Rhodes was it? It was, who did you say? Not Don Bass.
The original.
I don't know.
I think that was the original Donnie Bass.
Well, one of them was the cowboy, like the.
Yeah.
Which one was that in Memphis?
Yeah, Donnie Bass. He was a lot of characters.
I'm looking up Dirty. People know who Dirty Rhodes is. They put it in here last. Roger Smith was Dirty Rhodes.
Yeah.
Which was also an assassin, but I don't think he was that. It's not Don Bass, though, right?
Ronnie and Donnie Bass were brothers years ago. Hell, I might have got them mixed up. That's been so many years ago. But that's a good question. That's like Frankie Kane. He was the Great Mephisto, and then he was one of the Infernos. He was I can't remember if he used that name or Dante or whatever, but he was one of the Infernos too. So Frankie played like the sort of like a chic gimmick, but Frankie Kane, he was like a real carnival wrestler where he would where they would fight the marks. Frankie wouldn't he would hurt you real quickly.
Big George says, is it true Rip had an affair with Bonnie Blackstone in Global Wrestling?
Okay, you blanked out for a second. Who was with Bonnie Blackstone now?
Did you have an affair with Bonnie Blackstone in Global Wrestling?
No, that wouldn't have been bad. She was hot for the day. Yeah. I'd have let Joe watch, so I'd been cool.
That was from George. George wanted to know.
Yeah.
No? All right, Rip. We're going to get right here to little 80s trivia. Can you name this sitcom from the 80s? I'm going to give you a real easy one first.
Okay. Cheers.
Yeah, right. See, you did watch TV in the 80s. I knew it.
Yeah, but that was.
I knew it. But what?
A lot of the stuff I saw, but when I saw them, they weren't prime time stuff.
Oh, you were watching every night. Cheers, I bet you.
Oh yeah, okay, right.
Can you name any of these people? Real names or character names?
Oh God. What's her name? Rhea Perlman?
The older one?
Yeah, the one little short one. The one that was married to Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
Okay, is that her name, Rhea Perlman or something like that?
So.
Then there's Norm. I don't know what his real name is. And then there's George. Huh? I think he's dead. Oh, then George Wendt, the guy on the right, he just died. And then I see the guys and I can hear them talking, but I can't remember what their names were. And
Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, he's up the right.
And then I can't remember. Why can't I think of the main guy up in the? Oh, right here, the main guy, right here in the top.
Ted Danson.
Yeah, look at you, man. You know your 80s sitcoms. You act like you didn't know any of the Golden Girls. Here, you just named everybody from Cheers.
No, I didn't know. I couldn't think of the guy next to to the right, or look to the left of the main character, Ted Danson, the other guy who was always real smart, but I can't think of his name.
Frasier.
Yeah.
Kelsey Grammer in real life.
Okay, see, I wouldn't have thought of that, but now that you said that, yeah.
Man, you passed that test flying colors.
I
knew
did.
you. I knew you were an '80s sitcom, Mark. I knew it the whole time.
No, I was an '80s sitcom, Mark, but I was always gone when they was on. I would see them on Channel 4 or something.
That just proved you didn't wrestle. You didn't wrestle near as much as you acted like. You knew all those people.
Oh, okay. Hey, center of the boards here, baby.
I know. Hey, Rip. Hey, how over were the Jody Hamilton's Assassins tag teams in the territories?
Well, put it this way. One of them was Tom Renesto, and one of them was Jody Hamilton. At one time, Tom Renesto was a booker for Nick Gulas, and Jody Hamilton was a booker in Atlanta. So they obviously were smart. They obviously knew the tricks of the trade. And Jody Hamilton's son was Nick Patrick, the ref for years and years and years on Atlanta, WWE, etc. And Tom Renesto's kid was Tom Renesto Jr. He was a worker and a referee for Nick Gulas. And Timmy Renesto, he was a wrestler for ICW. And Timmy was so cool. The first time I met him, me and Randy Savage, we went up to their apartment, and there was Timmy, 14 years old, drinking beer and rolling one, and he was 14. So that was a bit eye-opening to me.
I'll get no better than
that.
Dave's channel in the house. Dave's in the house. How's it going, Dave? Wants to know if Tony Khan's called yet, Rip.
I've been waiting on him, but he must have not have got my message.
You need to let me reach out to him.
Yeah.
I mean, I got John Cena following me on Twitter.
Yeah. What can you? Yeah. Maybe you can tell John Cena to reach out, or just have Tony say, "Hey, Tony, John, call me, baby."
I can do it. Besides Baba, who did you wrestle in Japan?
Oh, let me see. There was Footloose, who was Masawa, Jumbo Saruda, the guy. I'm trying to think. He'd always spit up in the air when you'd hit him. But God, I see their faces, but I can't remember all their names because the last time I was there was 1990. So that was 35 years ago. Masawa, Kawada. Kawada they were Footloose, and Kawada had his teeth knocked out. And Kawada was the one that was hitting me real hard. And I looked out and I saw all the Japanese boys watching. So that means he was going to get me. So I just beat the shit out of him, just slapping him in the face and everything. I said, "Come on, you fat motherfucker." And then he goes, "Oh, work." Because they'd always test you when you'd first come in.
Yeah.
But he was a tough little son. He didn't know I was full of shit, but you had to watch it when you was working for Babu because holy shit, there went my thing. Now I'm back. Okay, I'm back already.
Wow, quickest ever. You're getting good at that, man.
Yeah, I know. Accidentally though. But anyway, the what do you call it? The mafia would take you out. When they tell you to go out to eat with them, you went out to eat with him. They'd buy you presents and stuff. Oh, presento, and they all had their little pinky fingers were all chopped off. When you was in that group, I just looked down there and see, oh, they had the good seats, and there was nobody in that row with any little finger. They all had their little fingers cut off. So I said, oh, yep, I better up my game tonight and to say, Asima said, domo arigato.
Wow. How about that? Did you ever meet Gene LaBelle?
God, where was he? I'm trying to think where that was at. I was going to meet him because I was supposed to go into LA, and I didn't get a go. But Gene LaBelle, he was one of the first shooters of judo. Well, he was judo Gene LaBelle, of course, but he was the badass of the LaBelle boys. Mike was the businessman. Frances was their mother, and she was the boss at the Olympic Auditorium there when they ran wrestling. So there used to be a territory one in San Francisco and one in Los Angeles. And a lot of guys, they'd stay on the West Coast. They'd work. Piper was when he was in his early 20s. He was the big star in Los Angeles for years, and in most in big wrestling magazines, there would always be Johnny Red Shoes Dugan. He was the top referee, and Pat Patterson and Ray Stevens were stars in San Francisco. They had wrestling twice a week, one day for TV and one day for the house show there. Then they'd go to Hawaii, then they'd go to Portland, and they'd go to Vancouver, and for about a year each time, and then they'd start over, and you could just stay on the West Coast and wrestle there.
Center of the board, $10 super chat. Hey, Rip, I watch old school wrestling on YouTube, and it's far more entertaining than this new shit, even after the death of kayfabe.
Well, I agree with you on that. The old school, you had to tell a story. And the old school, you didn't overstep your bounds. And if they did a crashing through the table, it would be in the main event. It wouldn't be in the first match. And there wouldn't be 122 high spots for no reason. And you wouldn't ever duplicate somebody's big finish hold and turn it into just a false finish unless you was going to work a program with them with that. There were written and unwritten rules that all the territories went by, and that's why you could go into any territory and go 30 minutes with somebody and you don't even know them because everybody knew all this stuff. Now we got people heading wrestling companies that aren't wrestlers and businessmen, etc. It's a totally different ball game now. That's not saying it's right or wrong. They say, oh, we evolved into that. Well, that's like the NBA. We evolved into everybody shooting threes. And that's the thing right now. It's like in the 90s when they had the Mark McGuire, the Barry Bonds, all of a sudden they're hitting all these home runs. And in the 60s with Sandy Koufax dominating, when Bob Gibson got dominating with a 1.12 ERA in baseball, Wilt Chamberlain playing basketball and averaging 50 points a game. And everybody thinks, oh, no, well, that was then. He was playing against the plumbers. He was playing against the best there was in the world at that time. And if you can dominate with that, you're pretty fucking special.
With that being said, you don't like today's wrestling compared to old wrestling.
I hate today's wrestling. You know that. I can't say it anymore.
I watched. You know what? Just thinking about like Memphis. You watch old Memphis stuff now.
Yeah.
In the promos, even the in-studio promos. To me, it really seems like they hated each other. Like when Dundee and Lawler were feud, it seemed like they hated each other. Anybody, you throw anybody in there, it just seemed like they really didn't like each other. I don't get that vibe ever hardly anymore.
Well, I think you're right on that, because today the guys working the business had already been exposed for years and years when they get into business. So they woke up, or they broke into business thinking of it as a ha-ha.
Yeah.
Where I'm having my first matches, and I'm not even smart to the business. I'd only been in the ring once or twice. And it's a completely different ball game. Yeah, it's like when I'd watch Jackie Fargo when he was getting on somebody, and just like Bill Dundee, I thought these guys hated each other. When I'd see Dick the Bruiser with Ernie Ladd, I thought they hated each other. And I'm just going, oh my God, I can't wait to see this thing. This is going to be great.
Thank you, Center of the Board. And maybe some of those guys back then really did hate each other. Who knows?
A lot of them did hate each other because some of them had points and some of them didn't. Some of them would half shoot on each other because they wanted to take their spot.
Look who's here today, Rip. Bret Hart's in the chat today.
Which Bret Hart?
I would have to assume the man, the One and only Bret Hart. Which one do you think?
Well, Jack Hart was Bret Hart at one time when he was in when he first started wrestling in North Carolina.
I would say this is the Hitman right here. He says today's wrestling in the shits. And look, he says, "Hey there, Rip." It's got to be.
Yeah. Well, you can just cause you can say, Clint. I can't even see what the thing says to begin with, but Bret Hart he ain't gonna waste his time with us.
Well, how do you know? We've had One Man Gang in this chat. We've had Honky Tonk Man in this chat. We've had, I think Adam Bomb was in this chat once. I could have made that up, but I know those other two. So why couldn't Bret Hart be in this chat?
Oh, he got better things to do.
I bet it's him. Ask him, see if he'll come on the show sometime. Hey, Brett, thanks for listening. Maybe you can come on the show sometime.
Yeah, he's busy being rich.
Center of the board, $15
All right,
super chat. Hey, Rip, the first time I saw a WWE cage match, I was pissed off. What was the first man out of the cage-ish versus a pinfall or submission to settle a feud? What the F is the purpose?
We talked about this a whole.
I don't get that at all. How did that start? Why is that even a thing? Do you have any idea what the point behind it?
Yeah, I do. As a promoter, I understand it. If you're the big top heel, right, and if he pins you in that cage, it's over. But just think, if he runs away from you, he's the winner. But you drop kicked him so much he flipped through and went through the door, right?
Yeah, I'm not buying
that. Well, they didn't want to see the top heel at that time in that program get beat. They didn't want to see him get pinned, was what it was. And
I either don't have him get pinned or don't have the cage match.
Well, cage match is a good draw. That's like when we had the double cage match in Rupp Arena, Randy was against Radamias and I was against Lanny. It was pins.
Right. Exactly. Pins.
Yeah.
Here's what I wish you would say. I wish you would just say the correct answer here and not try to be like, oh, this is, and just say it's stupid shit that they try to escape the cage. The point of a cage match originally, unless I'm totally wrong on this, was the heel runs, the heel gets DQ'd, outside interference, whatever. So we're finally going to get him in the cage so the heel can't run and nobody can interfere. Isn't that the point of the cage?
Yes.
Okay, so then escaping the cage to win is stupid.
Oh, yeah, I said that from day one.
Well, you just kind of defended it right now, I feel.
No, I didn't defend it at all.
You said, well, I can see why a promoter would do it.
Yeah, because he wants to keep heat on his heel. The first time you're not really you probably won't even really advertise that the first time. You're just having a cage match. If all before the cage matches were no time limit, no disqualification, there must be a winner, and then somebody would get pinned eventually, and then it better be the baby face of good triumph over evil. And that's the way it was. But then that heel, then he would start working with the semi-main event guy. Then everybody beat him on his way out, and he'd be gone for 3 years.
Well, it's not like the heel wins every cage match. The baby faces win by escaping too. I think it's stupid. Hate everything about it.
It is stupid. That's another. Well, that's just say it's a WWE thing probably.
All right. I don't know if either one of us answered your question. What was this first man out of the cage? Yeah, I agree. I think with what you're saying, center of the board. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate that. Talyon said that is the real Bret Hart in our chat today, Rip.
Oh. Well,
man, I was going to... Oh, go ahead.
Hey, Bret, if that's you on here, get back up here and I have Ross. Don't worry, Ross will get you. So just get back on here.
There you go. God, I was going to say something. What were we talking about a little bit ago? Girls, my girls watch all the wrestling. So they were watching AEW the other night. And they're still in like Mexico. I think they've been in Mexico for a while now or something.
Mm-hmm.
But the opening match was like a 8-man or 10-man. Maybe I missed the rules. I don't know. 10-man tag match.
Yeah.
And there were no tags.
They have different rules there.
Now, hold on.
Okay.
This one, there were no tags for like the first 5 or 6 minutes. Just it would be 2 guys in, do their little spot. They would go out of the ring. 2 new guys come in, do their little spot, go out of the ring. 1 guy would throw another guy out. So a new guy would come in, never a tag. About 6 minutes in, they started doing tags.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, my kids are like, why are they tagging now? I was like, I have no idea. It makes 0 sense how there was no tags for the first 5 minutes and then everybody was tagging. There were 9 million moves and high spots. And then out of nowhere, it was like a roll-up finish like every other match they have. Nothing beats you in AEW except for a roll-up.
And how many guys had a mask on?
Well, they're in Mexico, so there was a bunch.
Yeah.
Lucha.
Yeah, I wanted to go to Mexico to learn lucha, just so I could be more marketable.
Did you learn it?
No, I didn't know. The guy said, you go to Japan and Korea for me. And there was Victor Quinones.
Yeah.
And, who used to be part owner of Puerto Rico. He said, no, I want to book you in Japan and Korea. And if you work that for me, then I'll get you booked in, because you wanted to learn lucha, right? I said, yeah, just so I could maybe go there for a vacation or whatever, work, see this and that, meet other people, and just like you did everywhere. And then I did what I was supposed to do. Then I called him and he just kayfabed me. Imagine that.
All right, we're going to get to another. I don't know. Let's see here. All right, Rip. 80s sitcoms. Can you name this sitcom?
I just know that's Tony Danza. And I can hear the woman on the right talking with the red hair, because she was so them must be his kids and the babysitter or whatever.
Oh, see.
Is it who? Wait a minute. Is it Who's the Boss?
Yeah. Ding, 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 ding.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
See? Who's the Boss?
But I was really I said, I know that's Tony Danza, I think. And then I remember that the woman with the red hair.
Mona.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was. Mona.
She was like slutty.
Oh yeah, she always acted slutty, right?
Yeah.
Now who's that on the list? That ain't Cher, is it? I don't know who it is. I don't know who it is.
Cher, yeah, that's Cher. If I could turn back time.
No, I don't know who she is.
No, it's not Cher.
I didn't think it was, but hell, I got Tony Danza. I was proud about that.
Yeah, I can't remember her name. Her name's Angela in the show. She
Okay,
was the homeowner. Tony Danza was the housekeeper.
Oh, okay. See, I forgot all. I didn't know what the story was on that. But now that you said that, yeah, he was the housekeeper. Okay.
Yeah, the girl was his. The boy was hers.
Okay. See, I wouldn't have got none of that. The only thing I would have ever got was Tony Danza, and then that the woman with that was the a little risque. The older woman is risque.
So how many episodes of Who's the Boss do you think you've watched?
I don't think I ever watched a whole.
Oh, come on.
Okay, I watched every one of them.
There you go. Finally.
Okay.
We
Yeah,
finally got
every
you
one of them. What night was that on?
I don't know. Tuesday. Center of the board says, hey, Rip, for $5 here. Ever met or kicked it with Terry Funk?
I had Terry Funk in me, Max Payne, and Regal we had Terry Funk prisoner in me and Regal's caravan of just making him tell stories. I think that was the greatest day of my life, I'm thinking.
Wow.
Just to hear him talking, and he would talk about all these names, the ones I would I'd heard about but didn't know. That I hadn't even seen him in the matches of him growing up, his dad running the territory, how he was champion, how his brother was champion, and he was my favorite wrestler. It was always I always said the best matches I ever saw was Flair against Terry Funk in that I Quit match where he says, "I give up, I quit, I give up." Then he turns babyface when the heels come in, and him and Flair do the double team on and the other guys bump and everything. Terry Funk turned a loss into, and he was even over more than anybody. That was just awesome. But I was as big as Terry Funk, Mark, as you could get.
Wow. Nice.
I give up.
Stephen Allen, a.k.a. Vito Andretti, says, I have the same birthday as Tony Danza.
Well, I don't know either one of them, but I should know that because I've seen him on TV at least one time. But I really watched it every time. I just can't remember. That's a better thing to say because, I got half-assed dementia eyes anyway. I probably watched it every week, but I just couldn't remember.
Talion says, Funker versus the King, my favorite match. He also says, as a kid, I thought Mona was gross. I'd take a trip up her dirt road. I guess, does that mean he likes her now?
I guess it means he'd stick his wormage up the thine arse. The dirty road,
Yeah. Oh man, I wish I could remember what I was gonna say earlier. Can't remember.
Well, I probably interrupted you because I had to think right there, or I'd forget what the question
was. No. Wasn't that at all. All right, we need some more questions in here. Questions. Yes, that is correct, he said. All right, no, we don't have any questions ready right now, so we'll go to, I got 2 more of these ready. I'm going to make it a little tougher. Well, actually, there's a big signal in this one, a big hint, if you will. Name that show, Rip.
Oh, I wouldn't be able to name that show. I remember it was the Court. I remember that.
Well, there you go. There's only one more word.
Well, it wouldn't be. Let's see. All I can think of, it wouldn't be Divorce Court, so it would be something court.
Nope, not Divorce Court.
I don't know, something court.
How about Night Court?
Okay, now, yeah, I remember hearing that.
Yeah, Night Court? No? You don't have to start kayfabing now, acting like you don't know any of these shows because we're starting to bust you on your knowledge of 80s trivia, TV sitcoms.
Yeah, I knew Night. I knew that the tall guy. Well, I knew who he was at least. I can't remember the characters they played.
So you weren't a big fan of Night Court? I didn't watch it too much. Now we'll go ahead and knock our last one out here. I was a fan of this show. I watched it a lot as a kid.
Yeah, I remember Rerun dancing all the time.
There you go, Rerun. Yes.
Yeah, and then Raj, the skinny guy.
Yeah. Yep.
And then the younger brother on the left, and then the fat girl in back of Raj next to Rerun.
What was her name?
I don't know, but she was always mad.
She was like a waitress, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Do you remember the name of the show? Did you say that already?
I don't think so.
But
I remember Rerun. He was the highlight was always Rerun dancing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I remember the most about it. And then Raj was so skinny.
Shirley, that was her name.
Okay.
Shirley was the up here in the middle top.
Okay,
left.
and then the little girl on the right, she became she was a big star in her own right. She was a good actor.
She was. I don't remember her doing anything.
Yeah, she just sat there and would be.
I mean, in her own right. What do you mean? She became a star later on in life?
I just meant with that show.
Oh, with the show. Yeah. Yeah, she was always like the little kind of dry, smart ass, kind of sarcastic, like. I went on a run with that show. What's Happening is what it's called. Did I tell you that already?
Okay, yeah. What's happening? But the rerun, the dancing was always the best.
Yeah. I think it was actually called What's Happening Now, maybe, but I always just call it What's Happening.
Well, I had a smaller TV, so it probably didn't have now on there. It was just What's Happening.
Well, you didn't watch TV. You were wrestling.
Well, I probably was.
George Lambra said, I've been to divorce court. Yeah, haven't we all? I mean.
Well, yeah, me, you, George, all the above.
Italian said Cher would have made the Who's the Boss epic. Cher. That's classic, man. Is that Cher? Center of the board says, let's get this shit back to wrestling. I'll pay you $12 to quit talking about 80s sitcom. In most of his career, Roddy Piper never lost to Hulk Hogan. I think we just talked about this, didn't we? I thought or maybe just me and you did. I can't remember. I thought he was absolutely on point. It's like Bruiser Brody never losing much in the ring. Don't you think he was protecting his persona?
See, here's the thing. If you'd lose in WWE, the whole world would see it. If Bruiser Brody was scared, he made so much money in Japan, and he was one of the first guys that would work for Baba for a while. Then then Inoki on the kayfabe would offer him more money, so he'd work for him for a while. Then Baba would offer him even more money, and he'd go back to Baba. But he was afraid, like when the cameras would come down around, like if he was wrestling in Dallas for Fritz von Erich or whatever, he didn't want to lose because they had all those. Jimmy Suzuki was a famous Japanese photographer. They'd come down, and in Japan they have these real thick color magazines, and one of them is called. This sounds stupid, Gong, and one of them, wrestling magazine, is called Baseball, and they have a whole lot of color pictures in there and a whole lot of stuff from the territories in the United States. And they didn't want any, but the photographers would come in, and they would also take films too. He didn't want any film footage or any kind of pictures of him losing in the United States, because the other companies would put. He was a monster in Japan. That's where he's made his money. So if he was losing in the States, they would be reporting that he got beat in the States. So his marketability would go down. That's why they would do that.
Okay, so he's talking about persona here. You've said, I've heard you 100 times in the past say it's a phony business. Doesn't matter if you win or lose. It's all phony. Yeah. Is it more about the money then? Is that why? I mean, like for Brody, was it more, hey, I can't lose because my ego, or was it more because I need to make money in Japan?
He needs to make money in Japan.
See, if it really affects your money, I can see that. Like I can see not wanting to lose. But if it's just about more ego, I don't know, man. It's like, come on.
Well, I don't know anybody that wanted to lose, you know.
Well, I never cared to lose. Did you care to lose? I never cared to lose.
Well, after a while I didn't, but when all of a sudden when you start out and you're learning the business, then you're young and you're training and you're really coming along, and you're getting a push. You like to get that push.
Yeah.
Because the higher card you up, this is when there really wasn't guarantees and stuff in most places. And the higher up on your card there was, you'd make a whole lot more money.
I feel like you're kind of changing your tune on this. I feel like you've always kind of said in the past, it's phony business. If they ask you to lose, lose, and have a good attitude.
I know, but it depends what kind of show it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I was never obviously in the main event money winning and losing picture either. So it's a little bit different there.
Well, that's like when I did Baba's last match. He bonused me $2,000 for just that match with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I said, "Oh, thank you very much."
All right. Thank you, Center of the Board. I hope we hit on that. Good enough for you. Appreciate the super chat there. Italian had a question. Rip, did you feel cheated that your career was ended prematurely? Good question, I think.
That is a good question. I think I got ran over when I was 48. And that was
Were you that old?
Yeah, that was the killer. Yeah, I was
well, I mean, I put you out, but yeah.
Yeah.
48, huh?
Yeah. And there was today there's guys wrestling at 48.
Sure, yeah, a bunch.
But I always, if I wouldn't have got hurt, I'd be wrestling today. I would have been such a nut.
Would you?
Yeah. And I would learn how to work without really taking bumps, or I would only be nothing but safe and oversell and be total fucking character.
Kind of like you were already.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Nothing like being 70 something and acting like you're 25, you know.
Man. Yeah. Talion on the same lines about putting people over. He said, why would Tully Blanchard not put over Terry Funk? Did Tully refuse to lose to Terry Funk?
I have no idea. I don't know the situation. I don't know who they were working for, because they might have been working for Dallas. They might have been working in Amarillo, was that Terry's dad owned. They might have been working for Tully's dad, who owned the San Antonio territory. So I don't know what the situation was, or if it was a thing with the Four Horsemen and they brought Terry in to be a babyface or whatever. I have no idea. But anytime, if you're Tully Blanchard, I don't care what the situation is. If Terry Funk's an ex NWA World Heavyweight Champion, at one time was the greatest guy in the world, I'm putting his ass over if that's what they want. And I'm doing it to the best of my ability, because then all my other guys can, my partners can beat him up. We can get some more main events with tags and stuff like that. The Booker, you got to remember, the Booker, he's not looking at just today. He's looking at the next show and the next show and the next show. But they don't tell anybody that's what they're going to do, because a lot of times shit changes. Somebody gets hurt. Somebody's plane don't come in. Somebody gets thrown in jail for some reason.
Maybe if Bret Hart's still in the chat, he can talk to us about putting people over and winning and losing, and maybe if he's still in the chat, he can give us a comment on the cage match, the escaping the cage match. I'd like to hear his opinion on that too. You know,
I want to get him wound up. I want to get him wound up where he can get his blood pressure going, because Goldberg kicked him and put him out of wrestling after he signed that big ass contract.
Chickens in HD. Do you know Chickens in HD?
What's that? Is that a name?
It's a person in the chat.
No.
He said, can you share any memories he has of Coach Szymanski?
Holy shit. Broadway Joe Szymanski. I got a bunch of pictures of me with me and Joe Szymanski.
Now, what was he a coach of? Give us a...
Yeah, he was 26 and 24 as coach of Seymour. He came the first game when I was a sophomore, I started for him.
Sports?
I'm 15 years old. Me and Tim Hinkle's the only guys on the varsity.
What sport?
In football. Broadway Joe Szymanski, he was a collegiate wrestler at Purdue, a heavyweight. Who did he? I'm trying to think who he sparred with. God damn it! He was on Purdue, and he was the that did the like the ballet, Ricky Starr, the original Ricky Starr. He was from St. Louis, and his freshman year, Broadway Joe Szymanski, my football coach at Seymour, he would spar with Ricky because Ricky was better than the second string heavyweight. So he told me that. But he played in some college all-star game, East-West game. When he was going to college, his career was interrupted by he was in the service for I don't know how many years. So when he graduated, he was like a man. He was like 26 years old. And when he come to Seymour High School, he was like 6'2", about 240. So he got in the weight thing with us, and he was outlifting everybody, laughing about it, right? And I always had him posing, and he had the big old forearm and everything. And me and Tim, we named him Broadway Joe Szymanski. So he was just cooler than shit.
Chickens in HD said his son is my father-in-law.
Mark Szymanski.
So Coach Szymanski's son is this guy's father-in-law, apparently.
Okay, there was I think it was Mark Szymanski. He was when I was a senior, he was a sophomore. And then they had the one son that died, but I can't remember his name right now at that time. But Mark Szymanski, he was like a quarterback, but we put him at split end because Tim Hinkle was a 3-year starter at quarterback. But Broadway Joe Szymanski, he was the man, the myth, the legend. And when I was coaching against him, when I was at Union City, Indiana in 1976, we played them, and I called a middle screen 2 times in a row. And he just started fucking laughing because that was great. I said, well, you told me about shit like that. So I just did it just to see what you did. And it worked twice in a row. All right. Thank you, Coach.
Wow. That's awesome.
But Broadway Joe Szymanski, he was so cool. We'd go over to his house. He'd bring out the chips and stuff and the Cokes and everything. We just bullshit. We just go over to see him. He lived in back of the high school where all the teachers lived back there. I can't remember what boulevards or whatever it was, but Broadway Joe Szymanski, what a stud he was.
George Jetson said Blanchard, Tully back to wrestling, Tully Blanchard,
Okay.
came back for a one shot after the drug thing in 94 and wouldn't lose to Funk in a WCW pay-per-view.
Well, I guess he just, as Ernie Ladd would say, I guess Tully just dumbed himself out of business, didn't he? Tully had the world by the balls. He was a great, great worker. He understood that stuff. But like 99% of us, he got into, I don't know if it was drinking or whatever it was. It doesn't matter. It's stuff that we all pretty much do. And I think he regrets it now. But anyway, it had been a hell of a payday for him. And it probably got him back in the good graces with somebody because they said, oh, no, he's all right now. But I don't know. I wasn't there.
Speaking of that, LD Doc says, how did you resist temptation to use alcohol or illegal drugs?
Now, if somebody gave me some free, I think it was some you could go to sleep with in the car. I remember on the trips, I'd take them. But I probably took about 3 tokes of marijuana. Let's see, I drank in '86 that one time and got sick. And then then when I had the Dylan Bostic pay me $50 to drink that beer last year. So I went from '86 to 2024. So that was 24 and 4. That was 38 years without drinking any alcohol. I thought it was stupid because I couldn't stand the smell of it. I couldn't stand the taste of it. Then you was paying for it. Then the next day I'd get sick because I wasn't used to it. And cigarettes, marijuana, no, never did coke in my life. But everybody in the wrestling business was either drinking, smoking cigarettes, smoking cigars, smoking marijuana, or some of the other stuff.
So you just didn't really like it.
Right. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But if we had a real long trip and I could get, there used to be a nurse that used to get us some downers and stuff where we could, I think it was Quaaludes or whatever they called. They were like green ones, and they were free. And you could go there and you could sleep the whole trip and wake up. And I wasn't driving. And this is the unwritten rule: you're supposed to stay awake in the car to help the guy drive. You know what I mean? And tell stories and stuff. But at the time, I said, "Oh, I'm the boss of this car, so I'm just going to sleep, boys. So wake me up when we get home."
Frank's Pickle Barrel, I said it was definitely the real Hitman in the chat, Rip.
Well, how would okay? See, it said Bret Hart, but well, I guess he didn't come back. I must have said something wrong.
Chickens in HD said yes. Mark Saminsky is who
Mark,
he's. Yeah.
Because I remember
center of the board. Oh wait, Chickens HD just gifted a one Wrestling with Rip Rogers membership out there, so that's cool.
All right, thank you.
It's about to become a new member. That's awesome. Center of the board's back with the $10 super chat.
Yeah, he's on fire.
He is on fire. He keeps the lights on, as they say. How hard was it to be the son? Oh, I thought he meant you. Son of a famous wrestler. Curt Hennig, Barry Windham, Brad Armstrong were great wrestlers. Where our Greg Gagne was even a believable dog catcher.
Well, see, here's the thing. Curt Hennig was Larry Hennig's son, and then Kurt's son was wrestling. Barry Windham, that was Blackjack Mulligan's son. And then you can't get any more badass than Blackjack Mulligan. Brad Armstrong was just great, as was his whole family. Steve, Brian, Scotty, and Bullet. So they had all those there. Greg Gagne understood the business. Greg Gagne all Greg Gagne did was he didn't look great. He was a Division I quarterback in college playing football. But he was a smaller guy, yes. But don't be comparing him to George Goulas or something like that. Greg understood the business. That's like when he was in Atlanta, he lived with him, Mike Graham, and Bill Superstar Dundee. They all had this apartment somewhere there, and that's where I'd bring the guys when I was coming in early, and we go to sleep there. And he was always a good guy. I never he understood the business from talking to him, and he didn't look like Mr. America, but then again, he was a smaller guy, and he was always the underdog.
I didn't like watching him at all as a kid wrestling fan.
Okay.
Never understood how he was popular or whatever. I didn't really get that he was the, promoter's son.
Right.
I didn't like watching him. I believe, I'm not misspeaking here, but I believe I've been told by many different people who were under WWE contracts at the time when I think Gagne was part of the, NXT Performance Center, OVW. He was something. He trained. I feel like I've been told multiple times he was not a very good trainer, I think. But anyway, I'm not going to sit here and just rip on Greg Gagne. The question was, how hard was it to be the son of a famous wrestler? Do you think it was easier for these guys, harder for these guys? Just depended on the situation. I know you just went through and named some of their dads and that kind of stuff.
Well, that's really a good question. Now, here's the thing. If you're somebody's son that I know, you've got it 100 times easier to be accepted.
Yeah.
The older guys will help you because they know your dad. But it's like Von Linus, the King's not a wrestler. So it's going to be hard for you to make it. And the older guys, and no matter what they tell you, the old guys resent the new guys because the new guys got better bodies. They're faster, they're more athletic. They can do more shit. They just don't understand the business. So a lot of old guys would sort of give bad advice to the new guys, knowing it would hurt them. But if you were a wrestler's son, it's like all of a sudden Rene Dupree, he's in the WWE and he's a teenager. Why? Because his dad was a wrestler, and that's the way it is. If the King was a wrestler and Von Lidas is 6'6", and he's in his early 20s, he's going to get a big push because he's already 6'6", and you understand the business more than when I got into business. I didn't know what was real and what I didn't know anything. I was the stupidest wrestler, the guy to become a wrestler, to get any kind of success. It was a whole lot harder than me. Then here's Kurt Hennig or his son Curtis Axel or his dad Larry Hennig, and they've watched the dad and the grandpa. It's like Randy Orton watches his dad, watched his grandpa when growing up and everything, and they're just years and years and years and years and years ahead of everybody. They got the right attitude. They understand it. The hardest thing is not the wrestling, is not the moves. It's how do you understand this business? And when you're a second generation, it's great because you're a young guy, but you're smarter than old guys because you've been around the wrestling business your whole life. You've been in all the dressing rooms. You've been with the heels and the baby faces, and you can ask them any question, and they just want to help you. Because guys like to help young guys when they're really interested in it and they want to be a success.
Center of the board who asked this question also said, I would not pay 10 cents to watch Greg Gagne wrestle. I agree. Well, I don't dislike the guy. I don't know the guy. Right. I just didn't like anything about watching him wrestle.
Well, you got to look at different things. It's like if they got me in there, they got me doing a certain position. A lot of times you're overqualified for jobs. And if you can make all these other stars look really good, you're more valuable to the company. You might, and the stars making 100 times the money you're making, and they ain't worth a shit, but they don't know that. That's just like Goldberg.
Yeah.
He don't have a clue. He'll never have a clue, but he's laughed all the way to the bank. He's
getting ready to have his last match.
At least
Goldberg versus Gunther.
Yeah. So Gunther's got to beat the hell out of him. He's got.
I don't know. Gunther hardly could beat Pat McAfee. How in the hell is he going to beat Goldberg?
Well, that's a good question. But they're not.
That was my whole point about that McAfee thing. Like, I don't know. You did say he beat up McAfee. I felt like that match went so long for a world champion versus an announcer that.
See, I didn't understand he was a world champion because there's so many belts. I thought he had like the secondary belt.
Well, they have two world champions. They've got a Raw and a SmackDown, basically.
Okay. I thought he had like the Intercontinental.
No.
Okay. Yeah, because belts are all bogus bullshit anyway. Gunther looks like shit. All he was skinny fat. Now he's just skinny. And he chops hard. But I guess he's just playing. He's also just doing the character they want him to portray.
Yeah.
And I get all that. They said, no, your job is chopping. I don't want nobody else. If Lilas comes in, you guys have a chop fest and we'll work a program with you guys. But everybody else pretty much stay away from the goddamn chops. So anyway, it should be interesting. But Goldberg's going to make a whole lot of money no matter what.
Yeah, Chickens in HD is a new member now, Rip. We got a new YouTube member here today.
It don't get any better than that. Chicken in HD.
Frank said that Gunther looks like a European basketball coach.
Well, he's got that big head. He's Austrian. Let's see. He can say eins, zwei, drei. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can say that. Say bitte.
Who is your favorite actor and actress of all time, Rip?
I have no idea. Now you're now who everybody in the world. Let's say
I knew you were going to start saying that.
Yeah, well, it used to be James Cagney, so I'll just stick with James Cagney.
Was he in that show, Cagney and Lacey?
No.
He
was the biggest star in the 40s, and they were all black and white movies. And he did God, what was it, the Yankee Doodle Dandy, when he was tap dancing down the steps at the end of the movie. And he was a real good vaudeville actor and everything. But he was awesome. I'm gonna go with James Cagney. Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Any more super chats out there today? We had some great ones from Center of the Board, man. Center of the Board was on fire today. Frank chipped in there. Shane Parks chipped in early. Vito Andretti chipped in there. Chickens in HD came in with a couple memberships.
Yeah, he sure did.
And then, man, Center of the Board, 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 Center of the Board.
Are you ribbing?
No, that's no.
Shit.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them.
So is it center? Is it COB? Is it center of the board? Or
yeah, you don't usually say the T's in there, so we'll just go with C. C-O.
We
yeah,
can just call him Cobb then, can't we?
Sure, Cobb. Yeah.
Cobb. Now I just got to remember that. See, what's that? Let's center of the board.
Italian said Jenna Jameson and Peter North were the best actor and actors ever.
Oh, Jenna Jameson. She was squirting everywhere. I remember watching Live with Lovelace. That was my first, let's see, we was at football practice at UIndy. We went downtown to the porn place there and watched Linda Lovelace. That was a big porn movie then, I remember.
Fantastic. You think she remembers you? Or that was just a movie?
That was just a movie, yeah. That was my first.
Before we get off here, Rib, do you have a Sunday prediction for Game 7? Do you have a prediction for the OKC Indiana Pacers final?
Well, my heart's with the Pacers. And so I'm going to stay with the Pacers. And I got to go with the Pacers. Fuck OKC. I want the guys.
There we go.
All there is to it.
There we go. I mean, I'll tell you what, man. If they played like they played last night, whew. And obviously OKC didn't play the best. They were turning over a lot, but man, the Pacers were they were on fire. They weren't even shooting good. They shot like 30, low 30s, I think, from 3 and 40. They didn't even shoot good. They didn't even have a good shooting night. Playing the good D, though, running and gunning. Crowd was on fire. It was awesome.
Oh, somebody confronted me and told me that Rick Mount was a better fucking shooter. I said, well, I Googled Rick Mount and I sent the thing to him that he shot 31% from fucking 3. Oh, I got him good. So I said, always Google shit before you open your mouth.
Center of the Board is not letting us leave yet. He's got another $10 super chat here. It says, hey, Rip, do you think promotions went too far sometimes on character? Example, Chief J. Strongbow, a fake Indian, real Italian, versus Wahoo McDaniel, a real Indian.
Well, I didn't like Chief J. Strongbow. He was an asshole to me. But he was Italian, and Wahoo was legitimate. Wahoo was a goddamn middle linebacker in the NFL for I don't know how many years. Wahoo was a real nice fucking guy, and Jay Strongbow would bury young boys, and his shit was phonier than shit. I liked his son, Jay Strongbow Jr. I had him in Kansas City, but Chief Jay Strongbow, as an Indian, he just looked like a big-nosed Italian. And he was, and his work was phonier than shit. And Wahoo and Ronnie Garvin, they were the best choppers that I got in the ring with, of just beating the dog shit out of you. And
okay, so was Chief J. Strongbow, back to the question, did promotions go too far? Was that his character you think that he created, or was it a promoter that made him an Indian?
I think they made him an Indian, but they give him longevity by being an Indian, and he worked for Vince Sr., and he worked in the office, and he was I guess he was sort of like the heel, where you go to some guy for advice, and then he'd sort of like be the heel. I'm thinking.
So the question is, do promotions go too far doing that? Do you have a problem with somebody portraying, I guess, an Indian that's not an Indian?
Well, when Gorilla Monsoon was from Mongolia and couldn't speak any English, then all of a sudden, years later on TV with the same promotion, he's the announcer, the most articulate guy in the world wrestling. What can I say?
Yeah.
I
think that's kind of what wrestling is. It's just, there was a lot of fake Russians.
Hey, remember when Santino was Boris?
Yeah.
He was Boris. He was a Russian.
He was a Russian, yeah.
And all of a sudden, he got a job to be an Italian. So he was Santino Marella. So then he had to get what's the game that you listen to, or the tape or whatever, Rosetta Stone.
Yeah.
He had to learn how to speak Italian. He had 2 weeks to do it or something like that.
Yeah, he's talking about Santino.
Yeah. Did I say that?
I think you said Boris.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Boris Santino. Yeah, Boris. He was doing a Russian gimmick. He did a great Russian gimmick too. He could talk with that accent. And then all of a sudden, he had to become an Italian.
Yeah, I remember somebody was telling us on our show once. I can't remember. They were all at the apartment down at OVW, helping him learn Italian. I remember, or maybe it was Santino. Hell, he was on our show. I bet it was Santino was telling us, I think.
Yeah, I remember Santino there was 4 guys. Santino, he couldn't work in the States because he couldn't make no money because he's Canadian, right? So he come over here, and so they had 4 guys in some little tiny apartment just trying to live their dream. So that's what's so cool about this wrestling.
Yeah, if you haven't seen our interview with him, go check it out, man. We got some good interviews on here. Santino was one of them. Sir, the board said, I thought Nikita Scott Simpson was a real Russian. LOL. I did too.
That's what's funny, because he was a guy that when I was talking to him, he kayfabe real good. I did not see him break character at all. He was one of the Rick Rude's buddies and the Road Warriors guys. They was all bouncers at Grammy B's there in Minneapolis or whatever. And he had that great look of he never broke fucking character. And that was the thing. And he was really good with that.
Yep. All right, Ripper. About ready to roll. Go buy a t-shirt. I dare somebody to go buy a t-shirt today. We haven't sold one in many, many months. Go buy Rip's old book or Rip's new book. They're exactly the same, so it doesn't really matter which one you buy.
No, wait a minute. No, the Legends book's got the gold thing in the middle, and it's got 50 extra pages. And I'm back, and I did my another thing for my new book coming out.
Oh, great. A 3rd book.
Yeah, but this was like the other book was just things with tweets that Vince the Prince put out. And Vince the Prince put out the first one. He put out the second one, but the 3rd one, it's legit.
Is he gonna have the same cover?
No, I don't know what I was gonna put on that fucking cover.
It's like an autobiography, right, or whatever.
Well, an autobiography, I would have wrote it.
Okay.
So it's a biography, and I've been talking I've done about probably 24 hours of talking into a tape when he's there recording me and stuff.
Yeah.
So I know Bill Eadie wrote he had a book out. This guy's got a lot of guys. He wrote a lot of guys' books. So we'll see what the hell happens.
All right, 3rd book. Hey, 3rd book's a charm, Rip.
Maybe. Let's see. You plug my T-shirt. You plug my book. Oh, I don't have a picture of the beer thing. You'd have to drive to Seymour to get the Hustler beer.
Yeah, we don't need to plug that right now.
Okay.
Or
hey,
ever.
Did the King ever get a picture of the King sipping a Hustler beer, and you sipping on a Hustler beer?
I don't know. I don't know. I can't. I'm sure I have one somewhere myself. I don't know. I don't know about the King, man. Don't
Oh,
know.
King quit drinking, didn't he?
No.
Well, I thought he quit drinking, or did he quit drinking pop?
He quit drinking pop like 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's how he stayed slim and trim. Now, what'd Chili do to lose all that weight?
I think he gags himself. He eats and pukes. He's bulimic.
Okay, that's what I used to do too.
No, I'm kidding. I don't.
I
think he just eats better. I think he just eats better.
Yeah, when I was getting into them contests and I'd be so hungry, I'd eat and then I'd stick that finger in there and just explode everywhere, and I felt great because I tasted that food finally. What's Chili weigh now? I can't hear you, so whatever happened with it.
Oh, I got the music playing. You can't hear me? Got the music playing? You can't hear me?
No, I heard you then, but before it went quiet when I was talking about Chili. I didn't know I can't hear the music, so I didn't know you was playing the music.
Everybody have a good weekend. Thanks for tuning in today. Center the board, baby. On fire. Everybody else is great. Loved it. Thanks for coming in. Rip loves this song.
This is the greatest show we had today. We made it. But we're still live, so it didn't. The clock had to stop, so we still on there.
Yeah, we're still on. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm letting you close this thing out, man.
Okay. Well, I was going to talk about Turbo and Floyd, Rump Thump, the Ref, Serena at AEW, Mike Mondo and Damian Sandow and the NWA.